What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 29. And today we're going to talk about week 4 and the week that was. The title of this episode is called Poop Jokes. Why? Well, Mike Haber is dealing with a bit of a stomach virus this evening, and it's toughing it out to be here on the show. But if you're watching us on YouTube and you see an emoji pop up around Mike Haber's head, you know he's going to be exiting soon. Mike, thank you so much for being here with us, dude, and toughing it out through this thing. How are you feeling?
I am feeling, mediocre, but I'm glad I'm here. I told Jason before this, I thought I had eaten something bad last week, like Wednesday or Thursday, and here I am Monday now, still feeling like I can't put anything in my body. So,
Ugh. Hmm. So I would imagine that there are going to be some poop jokes throughout this episode. We've already dubbed it poop jokes, and let's just have some fun with it. Having fun with us as well from Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. Jason, tough luck lost this week. Got a bit of a butt whooping. How you feeling here Monday?
Yeah, pretty shitty. Um, it was not my best effort, especially coming off of that big win the week before over McCloskey. So not exactly the way I wanted to carry that momentum, but you know I'll shake it off. It's so early. I'm not worried.
We would also like to extend a hello and a congratulations to our reigning and defending undisputed champion Ben Nisman, who will not be here with us this week, scheduling conflict with him, but we wish him all the best this week. Let's get this thing kicked off here, gentlemen. We're going to talk first about the guy who led the league going into week 4. Then we'll talk about what happened in week 4. Let's start with Josh Haber, and he took on James McCloskey. Shout out to James McCloskey for a 12-9 win over Josh Haber. Thank you very, very much. We'll get to why momentarily. On Sunday, they flipped some categories here. McCloskey took down steals with 2 on Sunday to take that category. He also flipped the batting average category, which Josh had by 8 ticks. The untied wins, so Josh got that one, and the relief appearances were McCloskey's by 1 going into Sunday, so he takes that. Close categories this week for James, who won the week. He won by the triple. He won by 2 home runs. He wins by a steal. He wins by an and a third pitched, a loss, 2 saves, and 5 ticks on the ERA. It is a razor thin finish here. It's one of the best matchups of the week for Josh. 8 ticks on the on base percentage, a win, 3 home runs given, or sorry, 3 home runs given up by a pitcher, 5 ticks on the whip, and the 2 relief appearances. They did not tie in anything. For Josh on his bench this week, Mike, you're his brother. He went 19 for 51.
that doesn't sound good. 19 for 51 is a 356.
That's a 373, but that is very close. 8 runs, 4 doubles, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. None of that plays, but when the batting average is 14 ticks off and you left 19 hits on the bench, you do have to sort of wonder what was going on here. Part of it was Heimer Candelario, which we'll talk about in a minute, but that guy got picked up off of waivers and then wasn't played in the lineup on Wednesday, Thursday, or Saturday and put up hits, as in multiple, all 3 of those days. Any one of those guys in the lineup probably flips this average and might have contributed to why he got traded this week. We'll get to that in just a moment. For his moves this week, Josh dropped Craig Stammen for Domingo Acevedo, 1 inning relief appearance. Daniel Vogelback was a waste because he was then dropped for Pavin Smith, who went 1 for 2, 2 walks, a run, and a strikeout. Pavin Smith dropped for Connor Overton, who was serviceable, 5 1/3, 4 strikeouts, a no decision, a 3.38. Colin McHugh for Joe Mantiply, Mantis toilet paper ply. I don't know. I don't know what this guy's gonna have a nickname. I just don't know what it is. 2/3 of an inning in a relief appearance. David Peralta gets picked up for that guy. 1 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. And Connor Overton gets dropped for Christian Walker 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. The MVP for this team this week is Manny Machado, 429 average, 538 on base percentage, 6 runs, 3 homers, 5 RBIs, 2 steals, 5 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter, well, hello, Alex Verdugo with a 100 average and on base, a run, a double, and 5 strikeouts. Mike Haber, your thoughts on Alex Verdugo?
Oh, I'm glad he's not on my team this year. And Josh, enjoy him. Enjoy him.
What a great player he was this week. The Cy Young winner, Adam Wainwright, 7 innings, a win, a walk, 2 strikeouts, nothing earned, an 0.29 whip. But he catches the vid, and he is off to the injured list. The Cy Yuck, I mean, it's Jake McGee, right? 40-50 ERA, a 4.50 whip, 2/3 of an inning, and only a strikeout. But these guys pitched incredibly well. 2.74 ERA and a 2.69 ERA is very nice. For McCloskey on his bench this week, Jason, 7 for 39.
Okay, that's good. Let's say 152.
179.
Okay.
With 3 runs, a homer, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, and 13 strikeouts. None of it plays. And for his moves this week, he added Chad Pinder. He dropped Edwin Rios and Chad Pinder for Brendan Rodgers, who went 2 for 4 with 2 runs, a double, a home run, 4 RBIs, and 2 strikeouts. Thank you, Brendan Rodgers. And he picked up Austin Nola, who went over 3 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. Yeah, I traded for that guy and dropped him when he got rained out. That's why, because he's a catcher. He then dropped Austin Nola the next day. And the dude hasn't been picked up since. Like, it was in our... Oh, you got him now? Okay.
Yep.
Enjoy that. His MVP this week is Freddie Freeman. 389 average, 455 on base percentage, 4 runs, 4 doubles, a triple, 3 homers. 3 RBIs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter was Justin Turner. 100 average, 250 on base, run, double, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and an error. He hit pretty well this week, I have to admit. There's not a whole lot of guys that were worse than that. Merrill Kelly is the Cy Young, because if you had told me that Merrill Kelly was going to be the guy who throws the first complete game for the Diamondbacks, I would have been pretty surprised. 8 2/3, he almost got there. A win, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, a 104 ERA and whip. The Cy Yuck. I guess Herman Marquez might be a streamer. An 8.18 ERA and a 2 whip this week with 2 losses, 6 walks, 2 bombs, 12 strikeouts over 11 innings. That's okay. Guys, we will start the clock here. Josh, taking an L here for the first time this season. Mike, how's he feeling this week?
I think he's actually okay with the outcome. He was afraid it was going to be worse than what it was. And I actually had asked him on Sunday, because he did some interesting benchings on Sunday, if I remember correctly. Like, he benched Austin Hayes, Trey Mancini, but then picked up David Peralta and Christian Walker like late in the day, right before the Diamondbacks game started. So I was like, why would you bench 2 of your starters and then pick up
Mancini in a doubleheader and Verdugo? Candelario was just apparently never a guy for him. And Austin Hayes was really good.
Yeah.
He was really good. 5 for 7 with 3 runs and a double and 2 walks.
But, he was close in average. He was close in strikeouts, right? Maybe.
Average was 14 points, like we talked about. Strikeouts was 7 off there. But I mean, homers was close.
Homers was close, yeah.
A triple would have gotten it. A steal would have gotten you one.
Yeah.
There were enough things out there. Granted, none of them came. So in the end, you just sort of go like this. But I think having Austin Hayes in the lineup would have flipped this batting average.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. But it's his first loss of the season. I think he's okay. He'll recover, and he's looking forward to this week. I know.
Let's also talk about the trade that happened between you and your brother Mike. You get Heimer Candelario, and you send him some cast-off thing. What was the piece you sent?
Lucas Sims.
Oh, right. The worst team in the league's closer. Maybe.
who got absolutely shelled last week and
Mm-hmm.
was a big reason my ERA ballooned. So yes.
Yeah, he hasn't been great. None of the Reds have. But you know what? If Josh thinks he needs a guy that'll at least maybe give him 12 saves on the season, because apparently the Reds are going to win 40 games this year. Like, this is awful.
Yeah.
I think you won the trade, is what I'm saying here, Mike. Jason, your thoughts on this trade, Sims for Candelario?
Yeah, I mean, right now I have to agree. I mean, who knows what the future holds, but looking at it right now, Sims is just a guy on a terrible team, and Candelario, he can hit. He's gonna get you doubles, and in that lineup that I think will turn around still. Runs and RBIs can be had. So yeah, good job on you.
Yeah, and he's really just a holding piece there to wait until Torkelson like figures out how to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, having that third base flexibility now gives me some options. So.
And not for nothing, I was on here recently preaching that, look, if you have a piece that somebody else needs, get whatever you can, because it's better than what you're going to get on the waiver wire. Josh paid with his waiver pick to go get Heimer Candelario, and then turned around and got a reliever, what he thinks is a good reliever for him. Great move, dude. Like, you're obviously not playing him over Machado, ever.
Right.
So how often is he actually going to get in the lineup?
Right.
Probably not very often. So get what you can for him. It's a good, solid piece. For James McCloskey, this is a good, solid win, man. This is a really good win. Jason, what did you see here? This is a strong win for a guy who, coming back into the league, gets back near 500.
Yeah, and after I kind of gave him a big win. He gave me a big win last week, and he kind of bounced back here against what was the top team in the league, and showed that he is still biggest quality. And I mean, I saw that on Saturday he had an empty left field spot. I don't know if that's because the Orioles got postponed, after the Tigers had started already. I don't know if that's what happened, but so there still seems to be maybe some lineup issues happening, but whatever it is.
I did see that empty left fielder as well, with Robbie Grossman on the bench going 1 for 3 with a walk and a run. Now, none of those things matter at the end of the day.
Sure.
But what
just
if they did?
From a day-to-day standpoint, it's, you just got to wonder, what's going on there, because he had an issue, the same kind of issue with me last week. So, but it's good to see him take down this win. I'm happy for him, and I hope he can keep it up.
Here's the other question I would ask. That same day where he didn't have a left fielder, Nelson Cruz went 1 for 5 with a run, a home run, 2 RBIs, and 4 strikeouts. Would you want that in your lineup? Mike Haber.
But was it a run, a home run?
It's a 1 for 5.
Okay.
All of the other four at-bats are strikeouts, and you get a 2-run homer.
I think so.
You think so? I don't know. Like, I just sort of questioned that when I saw it. I was like, would you really want to jumble your lineup and get that in and then add strikeouts? I don't know that I would.
I mean, I guess it depends on what the matchup is at that point, but
right. He was safely ahead in runs, homers, and RBIs. So I guess in theory you don't need it, but it's just one of those talking points that I wanted to have.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here to the next matchup. And Mike Haber, this is going to be our matchup. I went ahead last week, stared right down the barrel of this camera, said that your brother's half-game lead was me holding you hostage for the throne. I claimed to be the king of the bigs, and that I was going to be taking down the Haber family. The Haber dynasty is over because I took down a 14-7 double up over you this week. Guys, check out the crown. It says bigs. It says bigs king.
And by week 21, Joe, it's going to be like a full ornate crown with like jewels.
If I run the table, this thing is just going to keep getting more and more elaborate. On Sunday, Mike, listen, we went into Sunday and it was like 16-2. And I was texting with you and I said, Mike, this is not going to end that far. Like, it's not going to be that bad. And you're like, no, you're kicking the shit out of me. Like, this is terrible. But in my head, I'm thinking, you have 2 starters on Sunday. I have 0. So you're automatically going to take down the innings, which I had a 1 2/3 inning lead. I thought you would probably take strikeouts as well because I only had a 2 strikeout lead. I believed I would take walks, which was tied at walks given up by a pitcher. We were tied in walks, and story about that later on. And we were I had a 1 stolen base lead. What I didn't expect was 2 steals for you, one from Yasmani Grandal that gave you that category on. What I didn't expect is for you to get 3 wins on a Sunday, or was it just the 2? It was 3 wins on a Sunday, and one of my 3 wins, or one of my 7 wins, gets negated on a stat correction Monday morning. So Ryan Thompson doesn't get the win that I thought I fell into. Instead, that went to Brooks Raley, who wasn't on my team on that day, but was for an extended period around that day. So I lose that category. It ends 14-7. Again, I go back to, I just want to stack these categories, right? This is exactly what I did last season. Stack early and then hope you can survive to the end. Close categories this week. I won by 2 doubles. I won by 1 walk by a batter, 1 error with 0. 1 loss, and 13 ticks on the whip. For Mike, you won by a triple, you won by a home run by a batter, a stolen base, a win, and 2 saves. We did not tie in anything. For me, on my bench this week, Mike Haber, I went 7 for 20.
All right, that's not ideal, but it's 342.
350.
Okay.
2 doubles, a homer, which would have tied the category, 5 RBIs, a steal, which would have tied the category, a walk, 7 strikeouts, and Gray's win would have tied the category. I wasn't throwing that guy. I wasn't throwing. And this is a whole lot of circumstantial stuff that happened to cause all of these stats on the bench. Let's talk about one of them that is the 4th here. We've got Max Muncy on the bench with a 2-run homer. He was facing Alex Wood, who's a tough lefty. I'm not starting Max Muncy, who's hitting 1 something. He's not hitting my weight against a lefty. It's not going to happen. The other really, really weird day that happened was the same day here. Jazz Chisholm with the steal. Jazz was facing Bumgarner, and this was the day Bumgarner got thrown out after the first inning. I'm not throwing Jazz against a lefty. But then a righty came in for like the next 5 innings, and that's when he, did what he did. It was annoying. It was very, very annoying. But Jazz has certainly proven that he's going to be in the lineup every day now. All of the trades that I got were that started this week. We talked about last week. We won't go over these, and we'll talk about my moves this week. I added Tanner Scott for Chris Martin, an inning, 2 strikeouts, and a relief appearance. I dropped Harold Ramirez for Spencer Strider, who doubleheader and the day after never got into the game. I dropped him, and the next day he goes like 5 innings, 23 strikeouts. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I dropped Austin Nola for Aaron Ashby, who went 2 1/3, a relief appearance, 3 strikeouts, nothing. Thank you. Just a nice, solid middle relief stream. Dropped Aaron Ashby for Juan Yepez. He went 2 for 3 with a double and a run scored that day. He circumstantially ended up in my lineup every single day based on the rainouts that happened the next 2 days. And he was just, he was a menace. We'll talk about him later. Dropped Spencer Strider for Nick Martinez. 7 innings, a win, 1 earned, 4 strikeouts, and a walk against Miami. Congratulations. You just replaced Corey Kluber. Thank you very much. I dropped Ryan Thompson for JT Brubaker, 5 innings and no decision and 9 strikeouts. Very serviceable. Thank you very much. I dropped Tanner Scott for Brooks Raley. Dropped Andrew McCutcheon, who went on the COVID IL, for Darren Ruff. I love Darren Ruff. Every time I play Mike Haber and I have Darren Ruff, he does something good for me. Last year, he tripled for me. This year, 2-run home run and a 1 for 4. Thank you very much, sir. Dropped
Yeah.
Darren Ruff the next day for Joey Gallo, who's probably going to have a run here on this team. Brubaker for Brock Burke, who helped me out today, didn't get in against you, and then dropped Brooks Raley for Miguel Castro, who still hasn't appeared for me. I used 11 ads. The most valuable hitter, we are going to talk about Juan Yepes right here. We are going to talk about this kid who made his major league debut on the day I picked him up, and for the next 5 days has been just ridiculous. 474 average, 500 on base, 4 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 3 RBIs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter, Chris Taylor, 100 average and a 250 on base, 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. The Cy Young is, oh my God, my nipples get hard when Pablo Lopez pitches. Like, it is insane how good he is. 12 and 2/3, a win, a loss, a homer, 4 walks, 12 strikeouts, a 2.13 and a 1.18. He had a terrible start on Monday while we were doing the show last week. And then he went out and threw 8 shutout?
Yeah.
Mwah, love it. Great. The Cy Yuck is Michael Fulmer, 2 innings, a loss, 3 walks, and a 9 ERA and a 3 whip. That was pretty disappointing to see what he did on Sunday here with the 18 ERA and the loss, which scared me because we might have lost losses. Mike, on your bench this week, you went 5 for 24.
That's better than I thought I did on my bench. So 5 for 25 is a 200. So that's a 212.
208.
Ah,
With 2 runs, 3 doubles, which would have flipped the category, or an RBI, 5 walks, which would have flipped the category, and 7 strikeouts. Jason, you did the research here. Where was the biggest one that you see? Was it Sunday? Was it Aguilar?
Aguilar, but you really had nowhere to play him. So it's just tough.
Yeah,
you're
Aguilar
not gonna
here,
start
2 for 4, 2 doubles, a strikeout, and a
You're
run
not gonna play him
scored.
over
But
Matt Olson. You
but
know.
so to explain the reasoning here, because I picked up Olivares Sunday.
Yes.
Okay.
And I could have put Yadiel in left and Julio in right, and then Aguilar at utility, but we were close in stolen bases. I was like, the odds that I can get one steal from some of these guys is probably better than someone on my team hitting 2 or 3 doubles in one game.
Yeah.
Plus, I was counting on Joe hitting at least another couple doubles on Sunday, so I figured it would be farther away.
And plus, this kid's leading off the Royals, playing a doubleheader.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have the opportunity there. He's hitting well. Julio Rodriguez leads the league in steals, by the way, with 10. So, okay, this is the dude you're going to have to play if you're chasing that. It was pretty solid.
Yeah.
And you played the Sunday as well as you possibly could. It was way too big a hole to dig out of, but certainly to get it to 14-7 from 16-2 is hats off to you, sir. You played this.
Thank you.
Your move
was also
go ahead.
There was also Wednesday. Was Ha-Seong Kim playing a doubleheader. He had 3 walks on the bench. But again, I guess maybe start him over Torkelson. But
yeah, how
again,
much more of a leash are you giving Torkelson at this point, man? It's been a month. We're looking at a dude who's hitting 167.
I mean, luckily, that's why I made this Candelario trade. And I also have Sheldon Noisy, who I really kind of love. If both of your nipples get hard for Pablo Lopez, I would say one of my nipples gets hard for Sheldon Noisy.
Fair. That's fair.
Fair enough.
So
he's on a terrible Oakland team, so somebody's gonna have to drive in some runs at some point.
Yeah, he gets on base a lot, and I don't have a ton of guys that do that. He doesn't strike out too much. He can run a little. So I've got him. I've got Bobby Witt, and I have now Candelario, who can hopefully cover third until Torkelson comes into his own a little bit. But I'm planning to hang on to him for at least a little longer.
Okay, sounds good. Let's talk about your moves this week. You dropped Pavin Smith for Trevor Larnach, who went 1 for 3 with a double, a run, and a strikeout. And you picked up David Peterson, 5 innings, a win, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Nice start against Atlanta. Pretty decent stream there. You dropped Trevor Larnach the next day for Jesus Aguilar, who did give you the 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Dropped Jason Black Adam for Jesse Julio Cesar Chavez. 2 1/3. See, now here's the thing. This is the guy who got the spot that I thought Spencer Strider was going to get, and it annoyed the balls out of me that I had to drop this dude. And you got the 2 1/3, 2 strikeouts, nothing earned relief appearance. It annoyed me. You dropped Ross Stripling for Jake Woodford, who went an inning and 2/3, a walk, a 10.80 ERA, and a 3 WHIP. And I went, yeah, that was a bad one. David Peterson dropped for Josh Winder, Jake Woodford for Yadiel Hernandez, Jesse Chavez for Tyler Wells. We're going back to that one. Dominic Smith gets dropped for Jake Odorizzi, 5 innings, a win, nothing earned, 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. It was a good stream, and I had my eye on it as well. You got to it before I did. You dropped Jalen Beeks for Dane Dunning, another one I thought about doing, but didn't like the matchup of him in New York. If it was in Texas, I would have pulled the trigger immediately. 6 innings, no decision, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 150 and an 083. For that, you dropped Steven Matz. More on that guy in a minute. You dropped Jeffrey Springs for Edward Olivares, which we talked about, and you picked up Max Meyer for your NA, all 12 used. Your most valuable hitter is, in fact, Jose Altuve, and we will talk about Jose Altuve as soon as it comes. There he is, right there. 7 runs, 3 homers, 3 RBIs, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, an error, a 409 average, a 519 on base percentage. The least valuable hitter is, I'm sorry, that's Mike Trout? 13 strikeouts and a 208 average, 269 on base, 2 runs, a double, 2 RBIs, and 2 walks. That's not nice to see.
No.
Cy Young, Chris Bassett, of course, 12 2/3, a win, a loss, 2 homers, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts, a 284 and a 103. Sunday night, he was great. He was absolutely great and salvaged what was going to be a blowout loss for you. The Cy Yuck, we're talking about Taijuan Walker, really? Really? We're not going to talk about Steven Matz and his atrocious start here in San Francisco that Mike had on his roster?
He had a good start earlier in the week.
That's true. It was good against Kansas City. What was Taijuan Walker's deal? What happened to him? 4 innings. Yeah, he wasn't good either. He was not good either. All right, let's start the clock. Mike, it was a great week for me anyway.
Oh, that was a great one, Joe.
Yeah. It just slid out, like.
It was a great week for
me. I mean,
me at least.
I was up 16-2 going into Sunday.
Yeah.
And I knew like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be that big a win, but I mean, it was nice to sit back and just. I didn't even have to go for the innings. I just sort of wanted to. I heard you guys last week talk about being passive, and Ben specifically talking about being passive against Mike Sherman, and I'm like, sure, you can be passive against Mike Sherman. Everybody's going to get a double-digit win there, except the 1 or 3 or 5 guys he beats this year.
Yeah.
But when you've got a Mike Haber down like this, you need to squash the bug.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I did. I think you're going to survive this one too. But if I had put a bigger whooping on, we'd be having a conversation. You're now on the 13th.
Yeah.
You still believe in these guys?
Yeah. I have to, right? I have no choice.
I'm sorry, you're on 14th.
14th. Nice, mm-hmm. Even better. Even less to go down. So yeah, I did want to make a comment on that because Jason and I were talking about earlier in the week about the pitching, because I think it was Thursday, and I reached out to Jason. I was like, because I was adding starting pitchers for later.
Yeah.
And we were so close in relief appearances. I was way ahead in starting pitching because I had front loaded all those starters. But I had this suspicious, lingering feeling that you were slow playing your ads to hold on to these ads for later in the week. And then you were going to ambush me with 5 starters on Saturday and Sunday and just go crazy with those ads. And I just had this sneaking suspicion that it was coming. I don't think it quite reached that point, but I wasn't expecting you. Yeah. I wasn't expecting
I could have gone.
I wasn't expecting it to be this close in innings. So I am glad I made those tiny little moves along the way, because I think it helped mitigate some of
They all worked. I mean, Tyler Wells, Odorizzi, and Dane Dunning were all really good.
They were all really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you made it interesting
Judgment.
enough. Like, I had to play Luis Garcia against Detroit, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't have to because I had already made the minimum, but I was ahead of well enough in home runs given up. I was doing fine in walks. I was doing fine in ERA and whip at that point. Like, let's try to be a little greedy here. Let's try to squash this bug. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm out of ads at this point. I looked on Sunday morning to try to find a streamer because you had 2 and I had nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, and I was only up by like less than 2 innings. I'm like, I'm not going to win that category unless I go out and find some people, and there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
There was literally nothing out there. So
Yeah. And then offensively, I mean, I don't know. We were pretty even the entire week, so I felt like, I don't know, frustrated with how it turned out. Obviously, the strikeouts were a runaway. I knew that from the first pitch on Monday that like you were gonna destroy me in strikeouts.
I think I had one strikeout on Monday. Was it 1 strikeout on Monday?
Yeah, you had weird strikeout numbers this week.
3 walks, 1 strikeout in it was a good number of at bats through Monday. And then Tuesday, I don't think I had very many either. Yeah, I had 2 strikeouts on Tuesday. I have 3 strikeouts through 2 days. And my goal here, in case I'm gonna let you guys in on a personal goal of mine. I had more walks than strikeouts through Friday. My goal is to do it once this year, is to have more walks than strikeouts. The problem was Saturday, I think it was Saturday, the Dodgers played a doubleheader and Chris Taylor.
Yeah.
As soon as that happened, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do this. But it's a goal for this season.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Moving forward, I'm in first place. I get to face Chris Levy this week, who's arguably one of the hottest teams in the league. Mike, you're going to have to start digging out again. You get Costas this week, which could be a reprieve, but he's coming off of a big win.
Yeah. It's Cedric Mullins' curse right here is going to continue, and we'll see how much he torments me this week.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup here. And Jason, it is time to talk about your butt whooping that you took.
Yeah.
This one worse than the one Mike took. An 18-3 butt whooping here at the hands of Christian Wood. On Sunday, you guys were tied in walks, and Christian got that out from underneath you. You were ahead by 1, and you took 2 L's on Sunday that flipped that category. And home runs given up by a pitcher was tied. And take a look here. Jason untied that one in the wrong direction too.
Mm-hmm.
Christian for the week wins by a steal, 2 walks that I mentioned, an error, a loss, a home run given up by a pitcher that I mentioned, and 4 ticks on the whip. This is closer than this score will say, but this is one of those moments where, like Uncle Barry did to you last season, Sunday hurts, and these one increment categories are just nickel and diming you, and this time it just took a whole bunch of change out of your pocket. You did win by a triple and a win, so you got 2 of them. You guys didn't tie in anything. For Christian on his bench this week, Jason, he went 11 for 39.
$265.
282.
Okay.
2 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, and 16 strikeouts. None of it plays. The only offensive category he lost was triples. He didn't bench one. So what? His transactions this week, he drops Tony Kemp for, we're going to call him Travis Demerit now, huh?
Yes.
We're really going to call him Demerit and not have fun with Vegemite Demerite. Okay. He also drops Omar Narvaez. He drops Gavin Sheets for Alex Faedo. I have a note here that says, who? Because I don't know.
Yeah. Me neither.
We then end up dropping Travis Demerit for Jonah Heim. Question to my two colleagues: is Heim a Jewish last name?
No,
Depends on if it's
you're thinking of L'chaim.
Oh,
yeah. It depends on if it's pronounced Haim or Chaim. If it's Chaim, then yeah.
okay, very well. He then drops back Faedo for Chris Archer, drops Heim for Senzatella, and drops Ranger Suarez, but does grab Rowdy Telez, who is absolutely going off lately. Chris Archer for James Karinchak, Antonio Senzatella for John Birdie, Richard Blyer for Richard Blyer. He picks up Richard Blyer, he drops Richard Blyer, and then goes with Ben Gamel. Matt Whistler for Brandon Drury, and John Birdie for a NA spot Johnny Cueto after the bell. Does look like he used all 12, 6 hitters, 4 starters, and 2 relievers. For Jason, on your bench this week, you went 3 for 18.
Okay, that's good. That's like 170.
Yeah, 167. You nailed it.
Wow.
A run, a homer, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and an error. None of that plays because you got fucking blitzkrieg. For your moves this week, you dropped Brian Shaw and picked up Jake Odorizzi. You dropped Jake Odorizzi for Denelson Lamet. Lamet for Brandon Drury the same day. We're going to have to discuss what happened there. Max Meyer gets dropped for Griffin Jacks. Brandon Drury for Lamont Wade Jr. Eliezer Hernandez for Daniel Lynch. That didn't work out. Ronaldo Lopez for Mike Moustakas. Lamont Wade for Mike Yastrzemski. Hunter Green, the waiver claim, is going away after a month. Josh Rojas is the pickup. Drops Mike Moustakas. You did grab Spencer Strider for Mike Yastrzemski, Matt Manning to the IL, and Austin Nola was the last pickup here for Josh Rojas. All 12 used. 3 starters, 3 relievers, 6 hitters. We'll talk about the key players and dive into this one. For Christian, who won the week, we're going to start with his MVP, Jared Walsh. 346 with a 370, 5 runs, a double, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. The least valuable player is Gavin Sheets. Poor dude. 143 average and on base, and not a single counting category. The Cy Young goes to newly acquired Liam Hendricks. 5 innings, 5 saves, 8 strikeouts, a walk, an 0-20 whip, and 5 relief appearances. Well done. Well done. Can't ask for much more than that. For the Cy Yuck, it is, in fact, Shane Bieber. 3 1/3, a loss, an 18.90 ERA, a 3.30 whip with no strikeouts and 3 walks. Yikes. That's bad from your ace. Jason,
who was that against again?
That start was against Toronto, at home against Toronto. I mean, if there's a team that I wouldn't start Shane Bieber against, it would probably be Toronto. For Jason this week, Luis Robert carried the load, 450 average and 500 on base percentage. You see what I did there? Load, poop joke.
Oh, poop joke.
4 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The the least valuable hitter is Whit Merrifield, 056 and an 050 with 2 RBIs and 2 strikeouts. We're going to talk about that guy pretty extensively here in a moment. The Cy Young is Walker Buehler, 7 innings, a win, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 129 and an 086. And the Cy Yuck, yeah, it's that guy Hunter Green again, 2 2/3 with a loss, 5 homers. 5 homers, a walk, 7 strikeouts, 27 ERA, 375 whip. His season is at 871 and a 189 whip. Jason, we're going to start on your side because all we're going to have for Christian is praise, love, and adoration. He did. So let's talk about the issues that exist here. Hunter Green no longer on the team. Whit Merrifield hitting 140 with only 3 steals on the season. Kyle Schwarber finally starting to turn it on, hitting 211 with a bunch of homers. Eugenio Suarez is still only hitting 204. Suzuki you traded for, which is nice. He hasn't been very good since the trade.
Nope.
Arenado, is he finally cooling off? Maybe. You knew he wasn't going to hit 400. So it looks like offensively is the issue right
Yeah, Corey Seager has been dog shit. Um, yeah, it's been a rough go. And but the thing is, like, look, at one point in the week, I picked up Brandon Drury because there were rainouts and I had lacking a second baseman, so I picked up Drury. He went like 1 for 5 or something like that, 1 for 3,
now.
and then I
And
drop
you
him.
didn't hold on to him for the doubleheader.
No, and then Christian picks him up, and the guy goes off. Like that's the week. The weather got to me. That's for sure. But that's not an excuse. Yeah, my offense just tanked.
Here it is.
I,
The 1
there
for
was one.
5
I
with
think
an
through
RBI and a strikeout here on the
Yeah.
5th. And then the postponement, and then you're telling me that he got this.
Yeah, he got that.
5 for 8, 4 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 5 RBI. Jesus, what a swing.
Yeah.
What a swing there. That's terrible. Man.
Didn't
I
he
think there
also
was-
grab Ben Gamel for that doubleheader? Who
Yep.
And he
also
got
went crazy?
He got a 5 for 9 out of that guy too.
Yeah.
Well done.
In
Well
the- yeah,
done, kid. That
in the
was
same game.
I mean, you get those two. And granted, Ben Gamel, like, you could at least go, oh, well, he just went 5 for 8 in a doubleheader, and now he's got another doubleheader. What are the odds? But he nailed it, both of them.
Yeah.
That's well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Jason, how do you turn this thing around, man? You were just in 3rd place. You've fallen down now to 7th, just outside the playoff picture. I don't think you're hitting the panic button, but is it just an off week, or are there concerns here?
I really need this offense to start heating up. I think, like, through Wednesday, I think it was, I only had like 1 home run for the week, which is alarming. So I need this offense. I need Schwarber. I need Seager. I need Suzuki. I need these guys to start, hitting. Then I'll feel a lot better. Right now, I'm just kind of putting in the hottest hand that I can find and riding them. I still like my pitching. I need some tinkering to do, but overall, no, I'm not pressing the panic button yet. I know I have Ben this week, which is always a challenge, but I like my odds, and it's still early, so I'm not panicking just yet.
Last question from me, and then I'll kick it to Mike Haber to ask you about this matchup. What happened on Tuesday with Dinelson Lamet?
I think I was trying to chase relief appearances, and I was looking to see like who hasn't pitched in a while, and he hadn't pitched in like 4 or 5 days, so I figured he had to get in. But then I think that's when that was on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
I think that's when I picked up Drury. I needed a second baseman. Yeah,
Okay.
so I was trying to beef up the offense instead. So
didn't anticipate the rainouts and whatnot, and had to fill a spot. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt too bad because you do end up getting the 1 for 5, and I don't think Lamet has been very good anyway. So
he hasn't. My ERA was already shot at that point, so like I wasn't really worried about the ERA. It was relief appearances and innings. I think at that point was what I was going for.
Gotcha. Mike, weigh in on this one, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching this go down, and I was watching this diverge like as the week went on, and it just reaches a point, and I feel for you because I have been dealing with a lot of loss this year. It reaches a point where like you don't really know what you're trying to stop anymore. Like, where do you put your ads? Where do you put your attention? Or do you just focus your ads on next week and say, like, you know what, this week is a loss. I'm still in decent place in the standings. Like, I'll be okay. Like, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, well, that's what Spencer Strider, Matt Manning, and Austin Nola was all about. The future was I knew Strider wasn't going to be pitching again until this week. Manning is on the IL, but he should be back soon. And Nola, I've been wanting a second catcher, so like that was kind of more of a future play, because when the dam is busting through and you have one piece of tape, where do you put it? It's you're not gonna stop the bleeding. So
no, you build the next dam. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. So let the flood come, and then it'll stop at that dam.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's scary too. Like I'm not sure if we're ready to segue into Christian's team, but it's scary that like there is not a lot of offense this year so far, and I think we kind of see this like in general across the board. Like there are more averages that are like 140s, 130s, like more guys just striking out 4 times in a game than ever before. Like Christian puts up a week with monster offensive stats like this and racks up 10 saves and 21 relief appearances. Like
this is the ceiling. This is absolutely the ceiling for this team,
yeah,
right? I
but
mean, I think the pitching could be better. I don't think he's going to throw to a 409 every week and a 135 whip, but it won the
right.
week. Like, it doesn't matter. But 13 homers and 42 RBIs and 40 runs scored. Like, that's a hell of a week. That's a
Yeah.
hell of a week. It's probably the ceiling for counting stats, at least what this team can do. And it ran into a team that's been ice cold for a month.
Yeah.
But right now, and I'm telling you this right now, Christian's 3 for 15 with 8 strikeouts.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a wheel. It'll eventually turn, and he'll need to adjust to what happens in 2, 3, 5 weeks when some of these guys look. Do you think Rowdy Tellez is really going to hit like this all season? I love the guy, but come on.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon Drury.
Serviceable little dude. He had one great game. He had one great day.
Yeah.
You know, if Taylor Ward continues to be a thing, it could be a league winner, or he could be in the minors in July.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's riding this now, and he's playing it well, and my hat's off to him for a big win.
Yeah.
Over the long haul, you're right. Over the long haul, like Adalis Garcia is,
Adalis Garcia is an 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, like more
right.
times than not.
Yeah.
Ian Happ and like, and then and the thing is, he was playing without a second baseman for most of the week until he picked up Drury.
Yeah.
So like that was
He's still like, that's the guy for his second base spot.
right.
You have the guy who's going to replace Drury when he gets healthy in Jonathan India. It's not like this dude is gonna have playing time. They're not gonna move Moustakas for him. What are they gonna do? Play him in right? I don't know.
I don't even know who plays right for the Reds.
Me either. I don't care about a team that's only won 5 games.
But also, if we're talking about the perfect storm here, like Liam Hendricks and the White Sox have been terrible, and then suddenly you play them in a week where they win every game, and he pitches 5 out of 7 days,
and all 5 are like lights out saves.
Yeah.
Stupid. Let's move on, gentlemen. We're going to move on to our commissioner taking on an old and dear friend of his. We're going to take a look at this matchup between Ben Nisman and Bobby Russo. On Sunday, Bobby led the way with two double lead, and Ben tied that one up. The innings pitched was 2 2/3 in Ben's favor. Bobby spiked it and won it. Neither one of these guys was at 42 going into Sunday, by the way.
Nope.
Bobby wins by 1 stolen base. Ben wins by 2 wins. He wins by 2 losses. He wins by a save and 4 ticks on the ERA. They tied in doubles and errors. For Bobby on his bench, who won the week, well, Mike, 7 for 31.
Didn't I already get this one? 7 for 31. I got it wrong last time. I'll get it wrong this time too. 224.
226. You almost had that. 2 runs, a double, 3 RBIs, a steal, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Nothing plays. For his moves this week, Taylor Walsh gets added, goes 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Jaron Duran gets added for Reaver San Martin, 1 for 4 with a triple. How nice of that. And a run and a strikeout. He drops a friend of the program and stuck in the back of your throat, Josh Fleming. Taylor Walls gets dropped for Ross Stripling, 4 innings, a loss, a homer, a walk, 3 strikeouts, 9 ERA 150 in Cleveland. And Zach Davies, 6 1/3, a no decision, 6 strikeouts, an 0.79 whip, and nothing earned against Colorado and Wrigley. Nice start. He then adds Willie Peralta there on the end, 2 innings, a no decision, a relief appearance. Whoop-de-doo. Good job. Five ads. His most valuable hitter is going to be Christian Yelich. 7 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 5 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 348 average, a 444 on base percentage. Shout out to Mookie Betts, who had 7 RBIs and a 381 and a 391. The least valuable hitter, Trent Grisham, man. 059, 238, 2 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. The 4 walks are nice, but like, yeesh. The Cy Young, you're kidding me. It was Jordan Lyles. 7 1/3, a walk, 5 strikeouts, 2.45 ERA, a 109 whip. You're serious with that? Yeah, I guess you kind of are. Zach Davies was good with 6 1/3, but what was that start? Who was that against?
Yeah.
Kansas City, half a doubleheader.
Yeah.
The Cy Yuck, and this might be the Cy Yuck of the season thus far. Tyler Mahle has been brutal, man. Another one here, 8 1/3, 2 starts, a loss, 2 homers, 6 walks, 8 strikeouts, 648, and a 132. For a team like Bobby that relies on essentially 4 pitchers and then streams the rest, this guy can't be doing this.
Yeah.
No.
That's not good. That's not good at all. For Ben this week, Mike, he went 18 for 50.
18 for 50 does not sound great. 346.
So 50 is half of 100. If you double the 18, it becomes 360. 6 runs, a double, which would have won the category. A home run, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 5 walks, and 9 strikeouts. We talked about the trade that involved Carlos Santana and Jock Peterson and Andrew McCutchen and Tyler McGill. The double, where was this? This was on Sunday, wasn't it?
On Sunday, he benched hitters, and I'd love to know why.
Mhm.
Errors. It has to be errors. It's the only thing that I would imagine is that he was protecting against the errors. And I mean, the double comes where here from Gary Sanchez. Gary's really?
Oh, Gary Sanchez. Sorry, yeah,
Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez here with the double. That's really the only thing that would play. And okay, he went 1 for 4 with a double, but it's Gary Sanchez, and he could error at any moment unless he was DHing. But was he? I don't know. Let's see. Was he the DH? If he wasn't, then it was probably a good bench. Yeah, no, Gary Sanchez was catching. Yeah. So he has Jose Miranda in, which was a DH. Jonathan VR, I don't know what he was doing. Jock Peterson was probably a DH. He's playing dudes that aren't going to error for him. I support it. Just mitigate what you can. For his moves this week, he drops Taylor Hearn, the hero of last week, for Corey Dickerson, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Drop David Fletcher for Jose Miranda, 0 for 4. Drop Miguel Rojas for Paolo Espino, a 1-inning relief appearance. Drops Corey Dickerson for Akil Baddoo and adds Phil Maton, an inning and a relief appearance. He drops Phil Maton for Albert Pujols, 0 for 4. Drops Dylan Bundy for Ryan Brazier. Drops Brock Burke for Phil Maton again, an inning, a strikeout, and a relief appearance. He drops Albert Pujols for Aaron Ashby. Drops Aaron Ashby for Franchi Cordero. Drops Franchi Cordero for Jonathan VR, who went 1 for 3. And drops Phil Maton again for Phil Bickford. 12 used. The key players for him this week. His most valuable hitter, Jason, I have Rendon. I mean, he hit 172. Like, that's pretty atrocious. So Rendon with 3 runs, a homer, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Nobody hit. This is the only guy, Jonathan VR, who we picked up on Sunday. So it, of course, is a 1 for 3.
Yeah.
Nobody else hit above 238. Holy, what a terrible, terrible offensive week. The fact that he got 9 doubles to tie it is good. He only got 34 hits. 9 of them were doubles. His least valuable hitter is Charlie Blackmon. have seen that coming for a week. 167 with a 200, a run, a double, an RBI, a walk, 4 strikeouts, and an error. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
9 doubles, and no one had more than 2, so it's not, so it was
They're
kind of like
sprinkled everywhere.
right.
And but nobody like hit well. Miranda had 2 doubles. He hit 130. Winker had 2 doubles. He hit 192. Sanchez had 2 doubles. He hit 235. That's the best one of them all. And he left one on the bench.
Yeah.
On the pitching side, Clayton Kershaw, 7 innings, a win, a walk, 2 strikeouts, nothing earned, and an 086. Wow, Kershaw's been good here this first month, huh?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. The Cy Yuck, he did Dylan Bundy again. 3 2/3, a loss, 2 homers, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 2209 and a 355. You didn't learn last week, and now he's got the vid, so at least he's off your team. But like, that one was in Baltimore. That's even worse. Ah, a terrible turn of events there.
What was interesting was he picked up Ryan Brazier for him, and then I think it was it Sunday or Saturday? No, Saturday. He benched him, like benched Brazier. I just I didn't really know why. I mean, he didn't lose anything out of it, but like, it's just I was just curious.
That is bizarre. 2 strikeout relief appearance on the bench at home against the White Sox.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But like, he picked him up. He played him the day before on the 6th, and he wasn't good, and then benched him when he was good. So yeah.
David Robertson has the COVID and is off to the COVID IL. Just a random update now. Us is losing that closer. Let's talk about these 2 teams. Bobby gets another nice win here. He sits in 9th. Ben drops down a little bit here into 6th. But I think what we're looking at here is 2 teams that are going to be fighting for the playoffs. Mike Haber, how do you feel after this matchup, seeing Ben take a little bit of a slide?
Kind of saw it coming a little bit, and I think that Jason is probably playing him at a good time this week. Offensively, this team scares me one of the least in the league. Ben knows what he's doing so well, and he's proven it. But that being said, I think that maybe, and I could be wrong on this, and Ben, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think that he overmanaged a little bit. And I think there are times when that happens occasionally. And again, I'm saying this for our commissioner who's won this league like 86 times. But like, I think there are times when he tends to overmanage and try to play too much towards like the error or too much towards like the walk, as opposed to like seeing the bigger picture, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that well, but like getting rid of like Dever, who can fill those gaps of like the lack of power, and like, I don't know. Jason, am I articulating this?
No, I'm right there with you. And I'm sure that this matchup against Bobby was eating him up inside. Like, I wonder if this was, against Matt or, like it or Christian or somebody that doesn't have as much of a personal impact for him, if he has the same kind of week. But I'm sure he, really wanted to beat Bobby, and he was just really trying to nitpick his own manager. He says that sometimes the manager is better than the players, right? So like, this is a case, I think, of him trying to be better than his roster, and I'm with you. I'm just worried that his roster is so weak.
This is a bad offense. This is a bad offense. This is a really bad offense that he's trying he's still trying to figure out. Yeah, he's still trying to figure this out. He gave up a lot to go get Anthony Rendon and Charlie Blackmon and Carlos Santana
and
Jock Peterson. And those 4 pieces right now are not doing very well for him.
Mm.
You know, Rendon is not bouncing back like I think Ben wanted him to at 213 with 3 homers, 13 RBIs, and 2 steals after a month. And Charlie Blackmon, we talked about it, man. He hasn't been good. 235, 4 homers, 12 RBIs, and a steal. Like, these dudes are supposed to be hitting 280, 290, 300 for him because he didn't believe that Devers would do something like that. And he was concerned about errors. And I get that, but I think there's something to what Mike's saying that on a Sunday, you're playing not to error rather than trying to just get something, a steal, a double, something.
Yeah. I mean, meanwhile, look, Devers is hitting 308, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. And he's got 1 error on the season.
It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. For Bobby, this is more of the same. He's going to hover around 500 for a while and then eventually make his push, right? We see this year after year after year with him, and he's finished that job once. He didn't do it last year.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think? I mean, Mike, you're on the record saying that this is going to be another playoff year for him. Jason, what do you think of his roster and whether or not this is going to make it?
I think it definitely has the potential. I mean, if Christian Yelich, if this week is like the dawning of a rebirth of Christian Yelich, pairing him with Mookie Betts and Castellanos, like Josh Bell is having a great year. So yeah, this offense is scary. Or at least it has the potential to be scary on a weekly basis. The pitching outside of Brandon Woodruff, and Alcantara, it's kind of a bunch of, like you said, it's a bunch of streamers.
I love Patrick Sandoval. Not gonna poo-poo that guy. And Tyler Molly was supposed to be the number 4.
Yeah,
that's another poop joke.
Yeah, that's why I giggled.
Patrick Sandoval, I mean, he's been very, very good, and he's part of the reason that the Angels are in first place right now.
Yeah.
Molly was supposed to be that number 4, and he's been atrocious. Now, if Bobby can find his way into another guy, if Jordan Lyles is the guy, then I guess so. Like, if Ross Stripling is the guy, then I guess so. Like, all he needs to find is a number 4. And could I see him trading off one of these pieces on his team in order to make that happen? I absolutely could.
Yeah.
I don't think for one second that you necessarily need to be playing Brian Hayes over Eduardo Escobar. Escobar's got 3 position eligibility. He can net you a decent starter and move on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good point.
These guys going to be jockeying for position all year. Funny I used Ben's team name. Let's move on to the next matchup, which is the Sunday swing matchup of the week this week, as we get Jimmy Dunlap taking down Frank Bucco 14-3. Now, this looks like an absolute murder, but not entirely, because going into Sunday, triples were tied. Jimmy got that. That's 1. Home runs, Frank was up by 1. Jimmy tied that. That's 2. Errors, Frank had 1 fewer, and he errored. That's 3. Batting average was 8 points in Frank's favor. Jimmy crushed him. That's 4.
Wow.
Walks by a pitcher were 2 to Frank's favor. That changed. That's 5. 5 category swing on a Sunday. Close categories. Jimmy wins by that triple. He wins by 2 walks. He wins by 6 strikeouts. He wins by 3 walks given up by a pitcher. 4 innings pitched. 4 ticks on the whip, and 2 relief appearances. For Frank, he wins by 3 home runs given up by a pitcher. They tied in home runs, steals, errors, losses. To me, it just feels like bad luck this week for Frank. Not to say that Jimmy didn't manage well, because we'll show the Sunday here in a moment. On his bench this week, Jason, for Jimmy, he goes 2 for 10.
Oh, 200.
Yay!
Yay!
Got one this week, guys. A walk and a strikeout. None of it plays. Thank you very much, Jimmy. His moves this week. He drops Tony Santillan for Marco Gonzalez. He drops Zach Collins for MJ Melendez. I think that's a brilliant ad. I just wish that Matt Losi had done it because he owns Sal Perez.
Yeah.
Daniel Lynch gets dropped for Jeff Hoffman. Marco Gonzalez for Joely Rodriguez. Joely Rodriguez the next day gets dropped for Luis Garcia, not the pitcher that I have or the second baseman that's on Washington, but the reliever. There's 3 of them in the league, guys.
Yes, there is.
Alejandro Kirk gets dropped for Christian Vasquez. Luis Garcia gets dropped for Spencer Watkins. We are dropping irritating knockout fart. It's a poop joke. For Josh, not gonna see her, I'm gonna nail her. Then we're gonna drop Christian Vasquez for Nick Whitgren. He then drops Spencer Watkins for Marco Gonzalez again. Bobby Miller. Jason, what team does Bobby Miller play for?
Well, I do know that he's a prospect for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Okay, yeah, this was going to be one of the questions I would ask Ben, but he's not here. He then adds Royce Lewis, who's filling in for Carlos Correa in Minnesota. That's a really nice ad as well. He drops Nick Whitgren. He then drops Marco Gonzalez for Eric Fetty, and then throws Eric Fetty right back the same day. 12 ads, 4 starters, 4 hitters, 4 relievers. That's as balanced as you could be. For Frank on his bench, Jason, 2 for 11.
That's like 2 or 201.
181. I'm sorry,
The other way.
182.
Okay.
Yeah, 182, a double, 2 RBIs, and 2 strikeouts. None of it plays. For Frank this week for his moves, he dropped Diego Castillo, not the second baseman in Pittsburgh, but the reliever out in Seattle, for the aforementioned Mike Haber's condition known as irritating knockout fart. It's the only move he had all week.
One ad on Sunday.
Somebody please. I'm very concerned about Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like, he made one move, and Sunday he got absolutely dump trucked.
And the move was on Sunday.
It was. I don't know. I mean, you have to at least give him credit for being in contention in this matchup without making a move, and then doing the one thing that he wanted to on Sunday, going in there. You have to believe that this was somewhere around what was it, 9-6? Something like that going into Sunday.
9-6 or 9-7, yeah.
Yeah, going into Sunday. That is a realistic expectation that, you know what, I'm going to walk out of here with a very low scoring finish, and he gets dump trucked on Sunday. That's just bad luck. I'm sorry. That's just bad luck. The key players this week, we'll start with Jimmy, who won the week. We'll start with Jose Ramirez, who is just ridiculous so far. He did hit 190 with a 370 on base, 6 walks, 1 strikeout, 2 steals, 2 RBIs, a triple, a double, and 3 runs scored. He filled up the stat line and got the triple for Jimmy to win the week on Sunday. Go figure. The least valuable hitter, Anthony Rizzo, 105 and a 190, 2 strikeouts and a walk. The Cy Young goes to Zach Gallen, 13 and a third innings, 2 wins, 12 strikeouts, a 1.35 and an 0.75. The Cy Young goes to Will Crow, 2 and a third, a loss, 2 walks, 11.57 and a 1.71. Ew. Why? Why is that? Why would you do that? Ew. Gross. For Frank, the very underrated Starling Marte. Shout out to Frank Bucco for that reference. I might use that all season. 417 average, 440 on base, 4 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 2 RBIs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Interestingly, no steals, and he has 4 on the season, but nothing this week. And I think Frank would have appreciated that because he tied that category. And I think having Marte on the team is one of those things.
He's been thrown out the last couple times he's tried. I wonder if he's I wonder if what's going on there, because he's been thrown out 4 times already this year, and he was thrown out 5 times all last year.
Wow.
It's bizarre. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's just, something that he'll get over and he'll be fine. But
yeah,
it's interesting that through a month he only has 4 steals.
Yep.
The least valuable hitter for Frank this week was Austin Riley, 148 and a 233 on base, 3 runs, a homer, an RBI, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. Shout out to Yuli Gurriel, who had an 0.71 batting average this week. His Cy Young is Dylan Cease. wherever he is. 12 innings, a win, 19 strikeouts, 3 walks, an 0.75 ERA, and 0.67 WHIP. Mike, you weren't here with us for extra innings before the show began, but would you believe that Dylan Cease is in the top 5 in strikeouts?
Damn.
Would you
I mean,
also believe that Corbin Burns leads the league in strikeouts, and they're both on Frank's team?
good for
Nice.
him.
Well
You're
done.
right.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
The Cy Yuck is Dylan Peters, so a different Dillard this time out. 3 1/3, a loss, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 10.80 ERA, and a 1.80 WHIP with a relief appearance. Gentlemen, we'll start the clock. I'd like to give credit where it's due for Jimmy and take one look here at the Sunday that went down as we begin speaking matchup. Now, on Sunday, Jimmy hit 70, 57, 2 runs, a double, a triple, a homer, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, and 2 errors. 2 errors is ugly when you tie the category, but everything else really plays. And gets 11 shutout innings with 14 strikeouts and 2 relief appearances and 2 wins. Which, yeah, that was nice. Frank,
It's
121.
interesting.
Ugh.
It's interesting though. The one of the 2 errors on Sunday comes from Melendez, and like I feel like the Royals have these 2 catchers that they kind of either they catch or they DH, like they flip them back and forth, and it just happens that this is a day that Melendez was the catcher and Perez was the DH.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Frank on Sunday went 121 for 211 on base percentage. He had 3 errors, 2 of them from Joey Wendell, 13 strikeouts. He pitched to a 12.38 ERA across 8 innings with 3 losses. This is an absolutely tragic Sunday. And
Yeah.
it's just bad luck. Like, you have
I've
to
been there.
chalk that up to bad luck.
Yeah.
I've been there.
100%.
Shake this one off, Frank. Like, that's tough bad luck, and man, you got to do better. Like, that's you'll do better in weeks to come. I will say that.
Yeah.
But hey, Jimmy pulled all the right strings, right?
Yeah. I'm floored at the one move, the one ad on Sunday, like that. It just, yeah, wow.
The one move all week, and he was competing all week with everything. You know? If he doesn't have a 121 batting average on Sunday, he's not hitting 196 for the week. He's probably hitting somewhere around 220, which would have been right in line. It's disappointing, and these weeks happen. These things happen. You know, you have one team go just completely ice cold for one day, and it ruins the entire week you built. Not indicative of how you managed all week. I mean, again, why only one move? It's just incredible. Who is this guy?
Dude,
and it wasn't like it wasn't like his bench. You know, he didn't leave anything on the bench. You know, so
he hasn't all season.
Yeah.
Do we think that and again, I'm just playing devil's advocate, that he is kind of like overcompensating, like in a very like opposing way to last year, in the sense where like I want to be criticized for like making too many moves on this team, so I'm going to make 0 moves on this team.
But it was working up until this week.
Yeah,
up until Sunday, it was working.
And I'm not criticizing him either way, because the restraint that he's shown this year and maturity is incredible. And this is bad luck this week.
I hope to everything that this isn't a like this one bad loss, chink in the armor, the dam breaks, and everybody gets rid. Like, we will know within the next day or two whether or not Frank's going to bounce back from this, or whether this is going to be that kind of, oh well, this team's so terrible, I need to break it all down. You had one bad day. You had one bad day, and your opponent had a great day on that day and flipped a lot of stuff. It happens.
It happened to me last year.
If it was a Wednesday and those things happened, you wouldn't panic. But because it's a Sunday and the matchup ends that way, that's the problem.
Yep. Yeah.
For Jimmy, again, he's right back in the hunt again. Like, every time we turn around, this guy takes a bad loss. He took a loss to Ben last week, 11-8. He lost in week 1 to Christian, 13-6. His wins are huge, though, 15-4 and 14-3. Welcome back to the dance. Like, This guy's going to be in it.
Yeah.
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 Do we
and
see him making a move at some point?
I think his team is really well balanced. I could see him. I think I would love for him to go out and like maybe add a closer. And like, because you have Ryan Presley and you have like the Houston situation, but
Yeah.
otherwise, like, if Houston doesn't win, you're not getting a save.
Right. He's got the Houston situation and 2 guys in the Yankees pen.
Right. Right. But
yeah, I mean, he could go get a closer. He could also like go get a starter.
Yeah.
I don't like the rotation.
They would though. If Eric Bauer keeps
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. I mean,
dude's been
1.82
lights
ERA.
out. Zach Gallen's been good. This Austin Gomber play might be good today.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm never starting a lefty against the Giants ever again after Steven.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup here. And guys, we've got a team that we've got 2 teams that decided to kiss their cousin today. And I think Brian Lebo is a bit upset that he's going to have to swallow this 9-9 tie with Ari. On Sunday, only one change. Ari was up by 2 errors and errored twice to tie this category and make it 9-9. Close categories this week. For Brian, he wins by 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. For Ari, he wins by the triple. Everything else was relatively in the bag. They tied in the errors, wins, and saves with 0. For Lebo on his bench this week, Jason, 7 for 21.
I know that one. 333.
We got 2 of them this week, guys.
I'm done.
You're so much better at Ben than you're so much better than Ben at this.
I know, right? Ben, you make it seem so hard.
No. 2 runs, 2 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and an error. None of it plays. The error would have, but congratulations, you benched it. Good job. His moves this week, we talked about the trade involving Jose Abreu. He dropped Nick Whitgren for Aaron Bummer. He added Martin Perez, who gave him 7 innings, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a 1.14 whip with nothing earned. Dropped Aaron Bummer for Brent Suter, an inning, 9 ERA, 2 whip, and a relief appearance. Drops Phil Bickford for Aaron Bummer again, an inning, a strikeout, and a relief appearance. He drops Art Warren for Matt Strahm, which was a waste because he dropped Matt Strahm for Richard Blyer, 1 1/3 and a relief appearance. Drop Richard Blyer for Scott Efros, an inning, a strikeout, and a relief appearance. I told you that guy's good. Dropped Aaron Bummer for Chris Martin, who was in the trade earlier in the week. Jose Abreu. You're welcome. An inning, a strikeout, and a relief appearance. He drops Efros. He drops Chris Martin for Art Warren. 2 innings, a win, 3 strikeouts, an 0.50 whip, and a relief appearance. And added Justin Steele for this Sunday night game. It was a Hail Mary because he was trying to get a win there to untie the game. It did not happen. He only went like 4 1/3, I think. What was the final line there? I didn't even write it down because it's 4 innings, a loss, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 4.50, and a 1 1/4. His key players this week, Franmil Reyes is finally back, boys. 611 average, 650 on base percentage, 4 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. He figured out how to hit again.
I'd say, yeah.
His least valuable hitter is Max Kepler. Did not have a hit, a walk, 4 strikeouts, a 100 on base percentage. His Cy Young, Lucas Giolito, 5 2/3, 10 strikeouts, a win, a 4.76, and an 0.88. His Cy Yuck is Trevor May and Marcus Stroman, who both hit the IL, and May gave him 2 earned runs over an inning before he did. Ugly. He did pitch to a 2.89 ERA, so like credit to you, Brian. That should win most weeks. The problem is Ari pitched to a 120, and that's disgusting.
Yeah.
For Ari on his bench, however, Mike Haber, 19 for 63.
you don't know that one?
Come on. 19 for 63. All right. So, divide the
Carry the hypotenuse.
Not 290.
It's 302.
Okay,
It's 302. That's not bad.
I'll take it.
18 runs on his bench.
How many?
18. That's almost as many as were in his lineup, and he lost it by 5. 4 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, 15 RBIs, 7 walks, 17 strikeouts. The
Wowza.
18 runs plays, and honestly, it could have been done just on Sunday. Look at this. Dansby Swanson, 3 runs scored, a steal, a walk, and a 2 for 3, and Nico Horner was 1 for 4 with an error. That one move alone would have not given him the error, and he would have won that category. 3 more runs. Oh, I thought steals were close. Okay, so he has to do that one, and he has to get Gavin Lux with 3 runs scored into the lineup. And you could do that with Brandon Lau, who was over 4 with 2. Those were the 2 moves. You do those 2 moves, he flips runs, he does not lose errors.
I don't know though. You're starting Gavin Lux over Brandon Lau though. Like, I don't know what the pitching matchups were, but I can see myself doing the same thing that he did.
Yeah. I mean, Lux is the Sunday night game. I think I would rather have him in there so that I could bench him if I don't need him.
True.
And he's on the Dodgers versus Lau, who's playing early in the day in Seattle. He had just hit 2 homers the day before with 2 more walks, so I can respect the play. His moves this week. He dropped Richard Blyer for Jamison Tyone. 6 innings, a win, 4 strikeouts, a 150 ERA, and 0.83 whip. And then he added George Kirby, that kid who started for Seattle on Sunday, or was it today? No, it was Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
He benched him, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, and 0.67 whip. The ERA and whip would have been even better if he was in the lineup. Look at that. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. His key players this week. Manuel Margot, apparently, is the guy we're going to talk about.
Whoa.
500 average, 545 on base, 7 runs, 2 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 2 steals, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, and no errors.
Does not get better than that.
Well done. Shout out to Pete Alonso, who had 3 homers and 8 RBIs. The least valuable player was, in fact, Lourdes Gurriel, an 080 average, a 148 on base, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a double. The Cy Young is Nick Pivetta, 6 innings, nothing earned, 8 strikeouts, and 083 whip. The Cy Yuck, well, Nestor Cortez had a bad outing last time out. 4 innings, a loss, a homer, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. But what he did today was very nice.
Yes, it was. Yes,
we'll talk about that next. Guys, 2 interesting teams here. Did Brian Lito play down to his opponent, or did Ari just play really well this week?
Well, what I saw, and I hadn't watched this matchup, so all I'm seeing is what you went through just now. Like 90% of Brian's moves were to add relievers, and you're playing against Ari, who never wins relief appearances. So, did you really need to, add Brent Suter, add Aaron Bummer, add Matt Strom, add Richard Blyer? Like, did you really need all these relievers? Could you have done something else? That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, unless he's just trying to keep that ERA down, but it seems like he was losing that from the get-go. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, he did get a great series of relief appearances. Art Warren was basically unhittable and got a win.
Oh yeah,
Martin was
they all
unhittable.
worked.
Frost was unhittable. Like, all of these guys together did what they were supposed to do. And pitching to a 2.89 ERA and a 105 whip across 81 innings, beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. But you don't have to chase that when you're playing Ari. And to your point, Jason, we've seen people do this in the past where they're going to chase the relief appearances against a guy who does not play those, and you're struggling elsewhere. And here, I think at the end of the day, Ari pitching to a 120 and an 088 is going to win that. There's no questions there. Yeah. And because of that, home runs and losses and walks come along with those. He got what he could. I think he would have liked to get another win. I think he certainly would have liked to find a save somewhere, but he did as good as he could, I think.
Yeah.
Overall, like I like his roster. Like especially, I really do like his offense. I think it's quietly a solid offense. Like the Rafi Devers trade really kind of helped him out there. But Devers and Bichette and Alvarez and Pramil, like this offense is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And Cody Bellinger is the former MVP wild card on that offense. It's a good offense.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
CT Crone in Colorado is, he's good for 25 home runs at least.
But Brian kind of reminds me of like Bobby in that like he starts off this way and then he's gonna go on his streak just like Bobby does. Like I'm not worried about him.
Right.
With this roster. I'm really not.
I agree.
The
pitching is good. I like it.
Yeah, Brian's gonna be there. He's gonna bounce back from this one. It's not a loss. You take what you can.
Yeah.
And Ari, I mean, Ari's team has been really good. This is like the third week in a row he's pitched to something really nice. And if we're gonna see Ari make a good run here, Ben talked about the even year thing that Ari seems to figure out. So maybe this is the team that makes the run. Maybe.
Yeah.
We shall see. All right, guys, let's move on to the next matchup here, which is going to be Chris Levy taking on Matt Losi. And, well, the rookie got his ass handed to him here, and you just sort of go like this. That was a beating. On Sunday, Nothing changed. This was 18-2 going into Sunday. It was never close. It was 13-2 after Monday and 16-4 after Friday. Like, this was never a close matchup. Chris absolutely just dump trucked him. On his bench this week, Jason, he went 2 for 13.
Okay. So 165?
154.
Okay.
With a run, an RBI, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. None of that plays. His moves, only 2 of them. He drops Josh Harrison for Austin Gomber, 6 2/3, a win, a homer, a walk, 6 strikeouts, and a 2.70 ERA with a 120 WHIP. And then he drops Austin Gomber for the suspended Ramon Laureano, who is in fact now back playing baseball after his suspension for PEDs. He's gone 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts. Fuck that guy, you cheated. His key players this week, we shall talk about Ronald Acuna, the namesake of the team. 348, 444 on base, 3 runs, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, 2 steals, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. The least
I guess he's back.
Yeah, he's back. He's back. The least valuable hitter we're going to talk about is Ahmed Rosario. Where is he? Here we go. Here he is. 091, 231 with 2 runs, an RBI, 2 walks. That's it. His Cy Young is Max Fried, 13 innings, 2 wins, 2 homers, a walk, 14 strikeouts, a 2.08 ERA, and an 0.69 WHIP. Yeah, he's pretty nasty too. What was the stat we saw him at, Jason, in extra innings? Was it wins? He's got 4 wins on the season already and 37 innings. That's what it was. He's thrown a lot of innings. He's thrown a lot of innings, surprisingly.
Yeah.
The Cy Yuck, Tanner Houck, 5 innings, 2 losses, a homer, a walk, 6 strikeouts, an 18 ERA, and a 2 WHIP with 1 relief appearance. For Mr. Losi on the bench, Mike Haber, he went 12 for 41.
All right. It was between a 250 and a 333. So it's 278.
293 here in the ballpark.
All right.
9 runs, a double, a home run, which would have won them the category. 5 RBIs, a steal, 8 walks, and 15 strikeouts. It was not a very good week on his bench when you go 212 and 260 on base in the lineup and 293 with 8 walks on the bench. It is an ugly, ugly week. The home run is on the 5th. We'll show that here because it's kind of important. Luis Urias is here, and the home run is on the bench. Whereas Gio Urshela, 0 for 1, he didn't even start this game. He went 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Oh, with an RBI and a walk. That's what it was, an RBI and a walk. I'm running out of reasons to think that Gio Urshela belongs in this.
Yeah.
230
I don't
average,
see
a homer, 7 RBIs. I'm just the whole infield, with the exception of Ty, kind of a mess. And you shrug your shoulders.
Yep.
His moves this week: Dalton Jeffries gets dropped for Jacob Junis. Jacob Junis then dropped for Glenn Otto on the same day. He then traded Patrick Wisdom away for Zach Plesac. He dropped Victor Arano for Jose Quintana, 5 innings, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a 360, and a 1 whip. Only 4 moves if you include the trade. Had 2 open spots on Sunday because he didn't play two players. Meadows and McCormick didn't have games here and didn't get anybody in. And you're down 18-2 going into Sunday, and you don't even make a move. I don't like that. I don't like what that looks like. The MVP this week for his team, Ty France, who's about as good as it gets at this point. 276 with a 300, a run, an RBI, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Again, the least valuable player is Gio Urshela. 1 1/4, 200 on base percentage, a run, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and an error. The Cy Young is Bruce Zimmerman, 11 innings, a win, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts with a 3.27 and a 1 whip. Is this just John Means, like, version 2? That's what this is, right? He's not real, but like he's gonna be kind of real for a minute.
Yeah, for a minute.
He's got a 2.67 ERA and a strikeout an inning. Like,
Wow.
And he gets Detroit next time out. Amazing.
Yeah.
Pardon me, that was a timer from last matchup. The Cy Young goes once again to Jose Barrios. 4 2/3, a loss, a homer, a walk, no strikeouts, 11.57 ERA, 193 whip on the season. Barrios has a 5.34 ERA, a 1.64 whip. Yuck. Not good.
I mean, that came from the first start and this last start.
Yeah.
That's the ERA.
Yeah, it is the bad start on opening day and 11.57 here against Cleveland. The rest are pretty good. Pretty good.
Having him on my team last year, he was very hit or miss. It was he was either on that day or he had no idea where the ball was going.
Mike, you obviously speak with Matt Losi very often. How's he feeling after this, like, ass chewing he just took?
I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, Joe, but Matt Losi had very little words for me today. He did not say a word to me in the building. Maybe he was busy and stressed. It's a Monday for a teacher, but did not even poke his head into my classroom to say hi.
Out. What can be drawn from that is either shame or embarrassment, or I'm just going to go ahead and handle my business and come back next week, and I don't want to hear it. So, Matt, it's the rookie beating that most rookies take. I'm not going to lie. There are plenty of rookies that come in here and their first few weeks taking a severe beating. It's how you bounce back to it. We don't want to see this derail your season. We don't want to see you get discouraged here. I do see some areas for improvement. The infield is one of them. I know a guy who has plenty of infielders. For Chris Levy, this is a pretty strong win, and it's another good win for him. He's had a couple of them so far in the first 4 weeks. Do we think that this guy could finally push for a playoff spot, Jason?
I don't see why not. I mean, look, yes, he didn't have to do a whole lot this week going up against a rookie, and really just giving it to him. But I've liked this roster since day one. I think it can only get stronger. I mean, he's got Lance McCullers waiting. He'll be back at some point in the second half. I like his team. I like his chances.
It's been an interesting start here to the season for him. He lost 11-8 to Bobby, beat Jason 11-9, then lost to Josh 10-7, now gets this win. So this is the kind of win that could really jumpstart your season. I certainly appreciate Luis Castillo being pulled after 4 2/3 of a game he was winning today. You can't get with that. That's awesome. Mike Haber, this team is probably a bit on the hitting side heavy. Paul Goldschmidt, Ketel Marte, Alex Bregman, Aaron Judge, Ronald Acuna. It's a pretty strong offense, but is the rotation something that concerns you on this team?
I don't know, with Freed and McClanahan and is that it?
That's about it, dude.
Yeah,
if you believe in Tony Gonsolin, if you believe in Luis Castillo, if you believe in Jordan Montgomery.
I don't believe in Jordan Montgomery, but yeah, but what Jason said about Anthony Disco and McCullers coming back, that's reinforcements that are a solid back end of the rotation. And is Jordan Hicks going to be stretched out more, because that's kind of a weapon?
His next start's against Baltimore. Like, that's a good opportunity for him.
And he went 4 1/3 last time out, 3 1/3 the time before that. One's going to imagine he's going to go 5 innings this time.
Yeah. I just don't know about his bullpen. That's the thing that I question.
The anchor is Mark Melanson, and then everybody else is sort of a guy.
Yeah,
it's in the realm of like anchor bullpens, but it's probably one of the worst, given Melanson as the guy.
Yeah.
That's room for improvement. I think an offensive piece could certainly be shed. I just don't know what it is right now. Maybe an outfielder. I don't see how Laureano fits here, because you got 5 outfield eligible dudes in Brantley, Judge, Laureano, Acuna, and Canna. And I don't think you're playing Laureano over any of them.
Yeah, I don't see how you can.
Maybe
Canna. Because especially because Canna doesn't play every day, so.
Right. And like, your outfield probably is Judge and Acuna every day in center and right, which leaves left field to be desired, which Laureano does not have that eligibility. So how does this guy fit on the team? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the final matchup this week, gentlemen, and we're going to talk about Costas Paragas getting a win this week over Mike Sherman, 12-8. On Sunday, the only thing that untied was runs, and Mike Sherman got that to make it 12-8. Close categories this week. Costas wins by a double. He wins by 2 homers. He wins by 3 RBIs. He wins by a steal. He wins by 7 ticks on the on-base percentage. He wins by home run given up by a pitcher. He wins by 3 losses. I'm sorry, three walks by a pitcher and 3 relief appearances. A lot of close categories for him this week. For Sherman, he wins by the 1 run. He wins by 4 walks by a batter. He wins by 1 strikeout by a batter. He wins by the error and the loss. They tied in triples with 1. For Costas on his bench, Jason, 2 for 15.
That's pretty good. 120?
133.
Okay.
With 2 runs, a steal, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and an error. The 2 runs are the only thing that really would have flipped the category. And one of them is on Sunday. Here it is. It is Jared Kelenic back on the team after being traded, not in the lineup. And you're probably wanting him over, Nicky Lopez, who also scored a run? That doesn't work. Probably hard to get in, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. You got everything you could. His moves this week: he drops Hunter Dozier for O'Neal Cruz, who's on the NA, and then adds Harrison Bader. He trades Zach Plesac away for Patrick Wisdom. He drops Gabriel Moreno for Jacob Barnes and adds Willie Peralta. He drops Jacob Barnes for Ryan Stanek, drops Kyle Farmer for Jace Peterson, drops Willie Peralta for Harrison Bader again. He drops Harrison Bader the next day again for Keegan Aiken, takes Saturday off, and then drops Elias Diaz for Alejandro Kirk. 8 adds, 1 trade, 5 hitters, 4 relievers, no starters. For Mike Sherman on the bench, he goes, Jason, 3 for 23.
Okay. Also really good. Um, 144.
130. 3
Okay.
runs, a double, a triple, a homer, 2 RBIs, and 7 strikeouts. The triple is obviously the one that plays. And here it is on Tuesday. This might be the second Tuesday in a row that Mike Sherman has left something on his bench, interestingly. Um, maybe Tuesdays are the difficult days for him. I don't know. But here it is. Randy Arozarena 1 for 5 with the triple and 2 strikeouts. And here's Marcell Ozuna in the doubleheader going 0 for 8 with 2 strikeouts in left field. Yuck. That's gross. His moves this week. He drops Christian Vasquez for Trevor Stephan, drops Noe Ramirez for Rich Hill, and then dropped Rich Hill on Saturday for Ranger Suarez. 3 ads, a reliever, and 2 starters. Key players this week. We'll start with Costas. Hey, it is the Cedric Mullins show again. 333 with a 357. 5 runs, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, a steal, and 5 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter is Nate Lowe again. He went, what is that, 1 for 17. That's an 0.59 average and on base with 8 strikeouts and a run scored. The Cy Young goes to Alek Manoah, 11 innings, 10 strikeouts, 2.45 ERA, 0.91 WHIP with 2 walks and 1 home run given up. Cy Yuck goes to Lou Trevino, 1 1/3, a loss, a walk, a strikeout, 27 ERA, 3.75 WHIP across 3 relief appearances. An inning and a third across 3 relief appearances. Here it is.
And this is supposed to be their closer.
I don't think he has his job anymore. I'm
Nope.
pretty sure that kid Danny Jimenez has locked that up, and
Agreed.
Trevino's out of a job. Now David Robertson also has the vid, and off he goes to the IL. That's 2 closers that Costas has lost now in the last week after trading away Liam Hendricks. So it's Hader, Barlow, Romano.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. For Sherman's MVP this week, it is in fact Randy Arozarena, triple on the bench, notwithstanding. 320 average, 370 on base, 4 runs, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, a steal, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter, again, we talked about it, Marcell Ozuna, who went 2 for 27. That's an 0.74 with a 138 on base percentage, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. The Cy Young is Shohei Ohtani, 7 innings, a win, 11 strikeouts, nothing earned in 0.86. The Cy Yuck, what is Noe Ramirez doing being rostered? An inning and a third, 2 homers, 2 strikeouts, a 33.75 and 75. Gross. All right. Sherman's team doesn't look very good, but this was a pretty competitive week from him. And I go back to what I said last week when I played him. You take what you can, and when it's big, you get out with as many as you can.
Mhm.
This is one of those weeks where I think Costas would have liked to do better, especially with what he's done in the first few weeks. Mike Haver, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I agree. And I was following this. I mean, both of them were struggling to hit over 200 the entire week, with lots and lots of strikeouts and not a lot of walks. Like the guys were just not getting on base on either team here. This was one of Costas's best offensive performances of the season so far. So maybe something's happening here. But I do think that you gotta come out a little bit bigger in this victory if you're Costas. I mean, push for innings, push for something, walks, runs, but
Strikeouts. Innings and strikeouts is where I would have
Yeah.
played it. The thing is, the home runs is close and the walks is close, so you're running that tight, that razor's edge of like, I could go get a starter and take this, and I could try to get strikeouts, but at what cost?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jason, where are you with these guys? How are they? How are they going to see their season? Is it going to be a long year for both of them?
Yeah, I'm worried about. I'm a little bit more worried about Costas' team. We've beat to death about his strategy with the closers, and now, like you just said, he just lost 2 essentially, not counting Hendricks, who he traded. So, I do like the trade that he made, picking up Patrick Wisdom for Zach Plesac. I think it just gives him a little bit more flexibility in his offense that he's kind of lacking without Chris Bryant. So I like that move. I applaud that. I just don't know what you're expecting to get from a guy like Wisdom. I mean, he's not a season saver, so this lineup doesn't scare me at all. And the pitching, it's the bullpen or nothing.
Yeah. It's interestingly constructed. I would lean toward using the word poorly constructed. As we're looking at, like, Connor Joe is your starting left fielder and he's hitting 267. Like, he's fine. But when everyone else is essentially the same guy, and Trevor Story is not panning out the way you thought he would at 194 with 10 RBIs and a steal. You lost Chris Bryant to the IL. This offense has no, it absolutely has no juice right now. And if your hope is that, well, Trevor Story's going to turn it around and Chris Bryant's going to come back and Jared Kalenic's going to figure it out and Cedric Mullins is going to keep being a 30-30 guy, like, those are a lot of ifs, and those are a lot of, like, need to happen ifs. I'm concerned. As for Sherman, I actually would believe that this team would, honestly. Like, the offense is a hell of a lot better, and the pitching isn't bad.
He just got Moncada back. That's big.
I could see a scenario where Mike Sherman finishes higher than Costa based on the way these rosters are constructed. DJ LeMahieu, Trey Turner, Francisco Lindor, Giancarlo Stanton, Randy Arozarena, Marcell Ozuna. Every single one of these guys are better than every single guy on Costas' team, with maybe the exception of Cedric Mullins. Am I horrible in saying that?
No, I think it's a pretty fair assessment of their offenses.
Yeah.
And on the pitching side, Julio Urias, Noah Syndergaard somehow, Shohei Ohtani, fucking Madison Bumgarner somehow,
Clevenger,
Mike Clevenger, Jack Flaherty, like 6 starters that are all better than anybody that Costas has, except maybe Alek Manoah in a couple of cases.
Yeah.
The bullpen is where it is, and if you're going to tell me that a team with an incredibly strong bullpen, probably one of the best in the league, but has no offense and not really a whole lot of starting pitching to believe in, or a team with pretty solid offensive pieces, pretty good starting rotation pieces, and not an embarrassment in the bullpen. Colome, Lugo, Gratterall, Luke, Munoz, and Stefan. That's not an embarrassing bullpen.
14 relief appearances. Only one save. Okay, so you punt saves, but he's right up there in relief appearances.
Compete.
Yeah.
He'll compete in relief appearances most weeks.
Yep.
Bold statement. Mike Sherman finishes above Costas this year. Bank on it. And Mike's in last place right now, and Costas is in 8th.
Wow.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, boys. It's that time of week. Once again, we do not have Ben's input here for the managers of the week. I asked for them. I have not received them. So let's just go with our 3, and then next week, when and if we see Ben, we'll get his. We're going to start with Mike Haber. Mike, who is your number 3 manager of the week?
Man, there are a lot of good choices here.
Yeah, sure.
A lot. I think what I'm gonna go with here is Jimmy Dunlap for number 3. Okay. What he did on that Sunday to flip everything on Frank, and he played really well, and he's just gonna get better once he gets to know his team a little better. But definitely Jimmy.
All right, he gets the first point of week 4. Jason Ashby, who is your number 3?
I gotta go with you, Joe. You took down, Mike Haber, who's not a slouch, and you propelled yourself into first place, the first non-Haber man to be in first place in quite some time in this league. So gotta give you props for that.
If I'm not getting points this week, then this whole thing is messed up, because honestly, I just took down another dynasty and I'm the king of this league. Thank you, Jason, for my first point this week. My number 3 is going to go to Chris Levy, and Chris Levy played himself a hell of a week against Matt Losi. not higher in the rankings because of the opponent. Look, it's a rookie, and he didn't really play out the week as well as I think he would have liked to. And Chris has a better team. At the end of the day, he just has a better team and has more experience. So number 3 to Chris Levy. Mike Haber, who's your number 2 this week?
My number 2 is you, Joe. Very,
number 2.
very.
I am the shit.
You are the shit. You are the Bigs King shit right now. But you fought like hell. You played really, like you put this team together. You made 3 trades literally right before our matchup and changed your entire team around just to fuck with me a little more. And all those moves that you made actually like really paid off, like the Max Muncy move, the Abreu, because RBIs were close. Like everything that you picked up was calculated, and it just reemphasizes the quality of manager you are. So hats off.
I thank you, sir. I really do appreciate it. And I threw once again to an ERA at 2.69, which is nice. So that's the 3rd week in a row with an ERA, or 4th week in a row with an ERA under 3. Doing great. On my way. Thank you for the number 2. Jason, who is your number 2 manager this week?
I gotta give a shout out to James McCloskey here, bouncing back after a tough week against me and taking down who was the number 1 team at the time in Josh Haber. It wasn't a dominating week, but it was a good matchup, and he took down the top team. Like, I have to give him props for that.
Yeah, it's everything I could have asked for as the guy who was chasing that number 1 team, and hats off to him. He's not on my top 4 or top 3. He would probably be in my number 4. But because we have 3 really huge blowout wins, I think each one of those guys deserves it. And based on that, my top 3 is going to be based on opponent difficulty. For that reason, Jimmy Dunlap is my number 2. I think Frank is a better opponent than what Chris had to deal with in Matt Losi at this point. And the Sunday certainly would break a tie if we were to call it that, because let's be honest, that was a hell of a Sunday to put up.
Yeah.
Interesting that we're able to see that here. So Jimmy gets another pair of points from me. That gives him 3 on the day. Mike Haber, it's that time of week. Who is your number 1 manager of the week?
Well, if we're going on opponent difficulty here, I got to pick Christian as my number 1 to take down Brandon Marshmallow Man 18-3. Very impressive, and I mean, really, you're not getting a slouch. Sorry, Jason, I gotta and to give him a butt whooping like you got is very well deserved there. So hats off to Christian.
One could say Christian beat the poop out of Jason this week. Final poop joke, I would imagine. I'm also giving him my number 1 spot for exactly the same reason. You don't come into a matchup as a rookie manager and put a whooping on a guy with this much experience and not get credit for it, because hats off to you, Christian. That was a hell of a week. This is the second time this season we've seen this guy do something like this. He did it to Jimmy Dunlap in week 1, and also as impressive. So we shall see how this kid progresses. He's been fighting to get into this league. Don't forget that. This is the 3rd time he's asked to come into this league, and Ben has allowed him in. And in first 4 weeks, he makes this kind of statement. Hats off to you. Jason, round this one out for us. Who is your number 1 this week?
Absolutely, it's Christian. And I basically didn't stand a chance. My guys didn't show up, and his guys did, and he kicked my ass. I messaged him Sunday night, congratulating him, and he was really humble about it, and he's really excited about it. So I think there's big things for him in this league, and I'm excited to see how he goes from here.
I am putting the finishing touches on the standings, and we will see here momentarily. We've got a new leader in the clubhouse for the manager of the year standings. Christian Wood takes over the lead here with 20 overall points. Josh Haber right behind him with 19. Jason's still there, 15. Keep it coming. And I just added to double digits. I got 10. Ben at 8, Mike Haber at 6, James McCloskey at 4 with the double up this week. Jimmy with 3 now on the board, Frank with 2, Bobby with 1, yet to get on the board are these 5 guys. We should probably see them soon, don't you think?
You would hope, yeah.
Oh,
One would
yeah.
imagine. Did I? I thought I had Chris Levy on mine. Huh? No. Yeah, here he is, number 3. So he does have a point. I should keep track of that better. There you go. There you go, Chris. All right. And as for the standings tracker, here's what it looks like this week, guys. Biggest mover this week is Frank Bucco, who takes the big loss and drops 7 spots in the standings, now 18 and a half back of this guy. Biggest mover upward was tied between Chris Levy, who gained 4 spots, and Costas, who gained 4 spots with their wins this week. What are we going to see in week 6? By the way, the other thing that I told you guys about that I'm not going to show you, that's the next page. It's this. Whoop. It's gone. Guys, thanks so much for being here. It's Mike Haber's trying to figure out what it is. You can pause and try to, read it later.
Yeah, maybe.
Guys, thanks so much for being here. Mike, you didn't have to use the pooper.
I know. I'm so glad we're talking about it again. But yeah, no, I'm thrilled to be here. Hey, it took my mind off the fact that I haven't eaten anything in 6 days. So this was great. Thank you for having me. And, I look forward to doing this again every week with you guys.
Absolutely. We love being here, and I appreciate you being here with us. Hopefully you feel better very, very soon. I'm sure the children don't need you running out of the classroom.
No, they don't.
Jason Ashby, thank you so much for being here. Get off the schneid this week and get back some wins, man. You got to get back over 500.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this next week. Hopefully Ben will be on the show, and I'll be able to, tell him what's what.
All right. You've got Ben this week. That is the highlighted matchup. Also, myself and Chris Levy. There's another great matchup out there between Josh Haber and Christian Wood. Those two are those are the 3 matchups to watch, guys. Until next time, thank you so much for being here. If you have not followed our YouTube channel, what are you doing? Why have you watched this far and not subscribed? Subscribe. Click the red button below. Ring the bell. Make sure that you know when we go live or when we upload new content. For those of you listening on Spotify or Stitcher, Google, or Apple Podcasts, thanks you for being here. And go ahead and follow us if you can, or subscribe, or whatever the hell it is on whatever platform you're listening to. Follow us on TikTok for outtakes and hot takes. There's going to be some coming from this show, I can tell you. Follow us on Instagram for the same things. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for being here. It's been real. It's been fun. And it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.